That which is cosmic awareness is now available and greets one and all. That you are living in extraordinary times, the times that you have waited for, the times that you have chosen to be part of. And that for some this is a more immediate involvement, and for others it is less immediate. Some are most definitely aware of the extraordinary events that are taking place in Washington, in America, through Donald Trump, through his actions, his and his group's action to bring down and to expose the corrupted cabal that has been in power so long. But there are many who have not heard any of this, who do not follow the news, whether on the evening news hour or through the papers or even on the internet. This awareness quickly wishes to assure one and all that however you are involved in that which is unfolding at this time is perfectly correct for each of you as individuals. You do not need to be heavily involved with the machinations that are taking place, with the unfolding of events. And this awareness would certainly say to one, to all, not to be involved at that level if it were to affect you negatively. For such are the events at this time that they are totally absorbing, and that they can have a negative effect for those who are so sensitive to the events that hearing of these things and hearing of the actions of the Dark Ones in their response would be off-putting. However, what this awareness does say to one and all is that while it is not necessary for each of you to be attuned and connected to the events that are unfolding, while it is not necessary for everyone to be part of the Twitterverse and to watch on the internet, over the internet, the unfolding of events, and not to listen to the news on the television or the radio or in the press. What is important is to understand that you are in extremely important times, extraordinarily so. These are the times that this awareness spoke of in its closing message for 2017 and then in its opening message in 2018. This is the time of the razor's edge. And whether you are involved in the information that is coming out in the exposure of the darkest ones or not, it is still that you are on the razor's edge in terms of your own individual journey, in terms of that which you have chosen to be involved in on this planet at this time. For you all made the choice to come here and now from that state of spirit, of divine spirit and source, to be part of an action that is to turn the course of history, is already doing so. That there are many who are observing these times, both extraterrestrial ones who are out there, but as well spiritual interdimensional beings, for the events that are unfolding now will bring new timelines forward that many who come from the future have observed and see to be so, and know where these shifts came from and have come back in a linear sense of time, of course, to this time, this moment, this epochal moment, where the shift began in full measure and in full earnest. As spirit beings who have chosen to be alive at this time, whether you are following the events or not, the purpose of your being here is to reinforce the energies of shift and change that are now very strong on the planet and are getting stronger each and every day. It is not about necessarily being active in a movement that goes up against those who have had power for so long. It is all about holding the space, holding your own space, your own personal focus, personality, and what it is experiencing. This awareness has spoken and taught for many years now on the importance of recognizing that you are a creator being, that you are spiritual in nature, that you are affected by outside events when you choose not to understand the significance of your own personal power, of your own personal centeredness. And when you go out into the events that are on the outside of your personal circle, it is easy to get absorbed. It is easy to get swept away by those events and circumstances. Now, however, is the time to recognize this in yourself and in your own personal life. It is why this awareness continually asks that you do not get too taken into those events unless you have the capacity to stay in sacred neutrality at the same time, to observe what is going on, to perhaps even get excited by those events, but not to be lost in those events, not to make your life dependent on what happens out there, for then you have lost the point of it all. You have forgotten that it is you in the experiencing of life that defines the experience of life that you are having. When you put yourself into another reality mindset or another's reality, then you forget your own nature as a divine source being, as a spiritual being. And that you forget that you are the one that is shaping the circumstance of your life by giving it over to others. While it is an intricate web that is there, it is also important to recognize how to stay on your own strand of the web and not get stuck or caught up in other strands, others' perceptions of reality. By holding to your own strand, being in the center of your own web, then you will find that that which you know is true for you will be that which you manifest in your life. What is of extreme importance at this time is to know that events are shifting, consciousness is shifting, things are happening, even though on another level it may still appear to those who are not keeping themselves informed and are only relying on the mass media and the reporting of news through the mass media, it might well appear that nothing at all is happening, or it is a continuance of the absurdity of Trump and his government. For many still have strong feelings of this man, and they have bought in hook, line, and sinker to the propaganda that is being released about him. But he has played that card as well for his own purposes. However, this aside, this awareness is saying to stay neutral here, to just see that things are happening is of extreme importance. To energize and to hold that there is a shift happening is what this awareness would ask you all to stay focused upon at this most critical of times, at this most historical of times. This is why you have come back into this time-space continuum, to be part of these events, whether directly or indirectly. Mostly it is part and parcel of being here now, to be one who holds that the shift is happening, that consciousness is moving, that humanity is beginning its first steps of the freedom march to its own liberation and its own redemption. But these are very tricky times. These first steps, such as it is so with the steps of the toddler, the infant who has raised itself up, may be weak steps, may be uncertain steps. But as that infant grows stronger and more balanced, its footsteps, its strides become stronger and stronger. And so it is seen by this awareness that it is so with humanity. It is taking fledgling steps now. And while these steps may be uncertain and lack perhaps strength, they will get stronger and stronger. And it is why many of you are here to provide the support, as a mother or father would be there beside the child, holding the hand, letting the small hand hold the finger of the mother, for example, as the child feels its way forward. Humanity is feeling its way forward. The first tentative steps are being taken, and many of you here now are that parental type figure that is holding the hand or letting the small hand hold the finger and guiding. It is not through your actions that this is done. It is through your intent. It is through your focus. It is through your desire that this is that shift point, that changing point of human consciousness. And that you will hold the space and hold it to be so. And that the light is coming into that profound darkness that has been available for so long, that has been prevalent for so long. And the light is the light of this source of cosmic awareness. It is the light of divine source and spirit. It is your light and spirit. And as long as you hold that it is so, that the light of divine source is coming, the love of divine source is available, then it will be so. This awareness would also say, go beyond holding that it is becoming available to the point that it is so. It is not about to be so, it is so now. And as you hold it to be so now, then you have created an atmosphere for it to be so now. That many of you are aware of the law of gratitude, and how important it is to have gratitude, not for that which will come to you, but that which is yours already. And as you hold this gratitude, as you give the thanks for what is, then you will find this is exactly the energy that allows further manifestation of those energies, that it is exponential in nature, and it will explode all around you as you hold it to be so in your personal life, that you hold in your personal life that it is an expression of the divine source. You are an expression of the divine source, as you are spirit, having this experience, as you are the spark of divinity involved in this physical manifestation of this dream that is so. And this dream is shifting. This dream is working its way into a new dream, a new reality, and new beginnings. That is why also it is so important to work on yourself at this time, to allow the depth of your true core being to come out, to find your communication with the low self, to find the connection with your low self, also to find and hear the connection and the voice of your high self, to establish yourself truly as a multidimensional being, not simply as a limited victim to events and circumstances that no one has control of, one does not have control of. You have control of your personal life. You have control of the choices that you make for yourself, of the attitudes you hold for yourself. Again, as you stay in the centeredness of your being, in connection to that which is your high self and that which is your low self, you will find that you yourself, the identity of who you think you are, will shift and change. You will find that instead of having to force things to happen, events and circumstances come to you, as it should be. This is an important and indeed historical time. But if you understand this in a most personal way, you will find that it is the moment of your awakening into the truth and the reality of a higher source than has been so up until now. This, in the paradox, does not mean that it is not there and has not been there. It is simply that each of you are now awakening to a new level of perception and understanding in a personal way, in your own unique individual way. That these are the most amazing of times, even if this is the razor's edge. And as you walk the razor's edge, and as you see how incredibly important these times are, you will begin to feel more comfortable in these energies. You will begin to understand it is not a threat walking the razor's edge, but rather the greatest opportunity of all to find your way through the quagmire of opposing energies, beliefs, and attitudes, to break free of the programming that each of you have received on this planet, and to find the inner source that will always support you and hold you up as you walk along the razor's edge. Know that one is most alive when one is on the edge, and instead of dreading this, embrace it. Understand that you are more alive in this moment than you have ever been, even with the historic events that are taking place all around you. Let these events occur and hold that you are safe, that you are supported, and that you are here for the purpose of supporting the shift and change, that you are here because you have chosen to be here. And it is so. That this completes the opening message from this awareness at this time.